right, so we live on YouTube. Be live in a minute. Body rock. What y'all know about that? David, you sharing on the UI? I got it. Four seconds.
Welcome.
We're looking to balance society. You are locked into the award-winning Mental Speak radio show on the Fishbowl Radio Network.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Middle Speak family. What's up? It's LT, Latanya Davison, your host, joining you today, coming at you live from North Texas, Arlington to be exact. Shout out to everybody around the world, wherever you tuned in. Hope summer's going great for you guys. Hope y'all soaking up this energy, man. It's coming through so strong and feeling it. Trying to give it back to you. Another amazing show coming up today. And we're gonna just jump into it. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I'm not gonna go through all these credits because the man's got credits. He got credits. But you will know him. You will know him from so many different facets. Medea's Big Happy Family. He's been on Def Comedy Jam. He has been on Bill Bellamy's Who's Got Jokes, Comic View, Jamie Foxx's Laugh-A-Palooza. He is a director, producer. Did y'all know he even did a stunt? We're gonna get into that. You got to tell us about that. On the line right now is a dynamic gentleman. I'm really, really excited to introduce you to him. I'm excited for us to hear what's coming down the pipe for him, but where he's been and where he's going, and just gain his life perspective. Today, I introduce to you Mr. Rodney Perry. Hello, Uncle Rodney. How you doing?
Hey, how you gonna say you ain't gonna get an introduction and then give a 5-minute introduction?
Listen. I gotta prep the people. I gotta prep them. No, I wasn't gonna read all your credits, man. You got how many? Let me see. Do you know how many credits you have? How many credits you have on?
I do not.
You don't?
I mean,
yeah.
Tanya, I just believe in working, and whenever I come to an impasse in life, I believe you should just get busy, and your work kind of begets work. If you ever feel like you're stuck somewhere, you just have to kind of create some energy, and that energy will always get you through.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm so excited to introduce that about you because, we really something that I wanted to do with the Mental Speak platform is I want to make sure that, and I call y'all OGs. We have a lot of comedians here in Dallas, Fort Worth that, a lot of people are trying to find their way in comedy, but a lot of people are just trying to find their way. And somehow it seems that comedy is becoming a platform to give people consciousness. Are you seeing that?
You broke up a little bit. Platform to do what?
To gain consciousness, to become more aware, to grow. Comedy has become a platform, a vehicle for that. Are you seeing that?
I mean, when you see a guy like D.L. Hughley, he comes to mind when I think consciousness. Comedy is always been a really true form of expression in terms of it's really honesty based. When I was younger, I heard Richard Pryor say, he tell a lie, I tell a lie, we comedy just lie. But as I began to grow in comedy, I began to understand that comedy was really true. And so the comedian has a unique ability to look at life through his lens and spit it back out where people can digest it. If you think about Jesus spoke a lot in parables.
Yes.
So he could create the atmosphere for you to understand, because he was probably smarter than everybody, but to make the layman understand, he was giving you stories, and that's what the comedian does.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny that you say that, because I always imagined Pharisees was like thinking he was talking trash all the time because they didn't understand the knowledge that he was trying to give to them and try to bring to them, and they were offended by it, But I like to think Jesus is pretty funny, but
you know
what I'm saying?
It says that laughter is good for the soul. And,
yes.
And I met a lady years ago. She was a stage 4 cancer patient. And when I met her, her cancer was in remission. She said, Rodney, when I was diagnosed, I began to consume all the comedy I could. She said she watched movies, TV shows, stand-up, all she could do, everything that would make her laugh. And she believes that's what sent her cancer into remission.
I believe it. I talk a lot on the show about alchemy and the process of changing one thing into something else. I mean, that's really what we're doing. We're trying to change our minds here. The comedian gets into the subconscious. I mean, you're bypassing all the filters that society puts up that keeps us from being able to hear the truth that we need to hear, because we're going to reject it. We don't want to know, how to see the world and how to get ourselves where we need to be, but the comedian's got that power. How did comedy find you, or did you find it?
I guess a little bit of both. My mother and my stepfather were comedy fans, and back in the day, they would have people come by the house, like little get-togethers, and they would listen to comedy records. Whether it was Richard Pryor or Red Fox or Miles Mabley. And my bedroom was right off the living room, and I would lay on the floor and listen, crack up. And of course, I wouldn't find it as a profession much later on, but that's the very first inklings of comedy and me knowing what it was to captivate a room full of people.
Yeah, yeah. You were funny as a kid. So I read somewhere that you were funny in school.
I had a teacher that would let me tell jokes at the end of the day if I would shut up what I was supposed to say.
Wow.
So I don't know how good I was, but they let me do it.
It sounds like it was in you. Is it, so for you, we always hear the cliche that comedy comes from pain and all that stuff. Is that a truth for you, or does it come from some other source?
I suppose some of my comedy comes from pain, but comedy is happy for me. Comedy is my fortress of solitude. It's my happy place. So, we go through some dark moments in life, and I believe you should find a way to lighten that up and make that palatable, because somebody else is going through it too. But my comedy is not dark, never dark, and my tragedy and my comedy is not always one and the same.
Right. We're going to get into that too. We're going to talk about the health challenge that you went through, that that we're all pretty aware of, and just your journey from that place into what you've created, what you've been able to create from that time in your life. I'm really hoping that people, I want to give them a chance. Get your friends, get your people on, so that you can hear his perspective and hear his truth, because we're going to tap in. You're from Chicago? Chi-Town?
Yes, ma'am.
What's up with you Chi-Town people, man? Is it just, what's so funny about Chicago? Everybody from Chicago is in comedy. Everybody and their mama I know. What is it?
I heard Chris Rock say one day that, in reference to New Yorkers, that New York people are just funny. And I think that's true about Chicago. Like, you don't have to be a comedian to be a funny person in Chicago. Like, you could get roasted by the lady at the grocery store. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, real deal, like comedians, they will rip you apart. So when you come up in that environment, it's kind of hard not to be funny, but to be a comedian is kind of another thing. Like, you know, I know funny people that would never get on stage for no reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, where I wasn't the funniest person I grew up with, but I was definitely the one that wasn't afraid to do it in front of strangers. That's what makes you a comedian.
That's got to be the case. What is it that you have found in your journey, and how long have you been doing comedy?
Ooh, I don't even do the math.
You don't even do the math. Well, you do the math. Well, you do the math. That's why I said it seems like with you, it's just in you. And I do say that about people from Chicago. I've interviewed Marsha Warfield. You know, we're always going back to Pryor. Everybody goes back to that cohort. To me, it's like Chicago people, y'all just got your trash talk, as you guys call it, your Joan game. You guys got it down. And it's just, it hurts, but it's funny. Y'all are just full of the truth up there. So
I mean, Chicago is definitely one of those cities, man. It's politically, it's a melting pot of people, but it's also the most segregated city in the world. So you're gonna be immersed in your blackness and be very aware of it, and you're gonna be aware of white and how you're kind of not included in that. And so I'm sure that affects us as we, mature in the comedy world.
Yeah. You are now. We're gonna keep transitioning down the line. You are a shipmate. You were in the Navy. I was in the Navy. You were in the Navy. We're veterans. How much time did you do?
I'm a vet.
He's a vet.
I served in the Navy from 1990 to 1998. I was a yeoman, second class. My daughter is in the Navy right now as we speak. She's on the USS Roosevelt.
Wow.
Aircraft carrier out of San Diego. She just made second class. I couldn't be proud.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Yeah. What's her rate? What does she do out there?
She's an IT too.
Got that IT? That's what's up. That is so awesome. So she followed in your footsteps. How were you? What was your response when she told you she was going in?
I mean, she was in school, she was in college, and she was like, Dad, this college is not for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I want to join the Navy. And I was like, you know what? I mean, don't do it because I did it, And she said, no, she had really done some research as far as her branches that she considered. And they had the best deal for her at that time. And she went, and she's been shining, man. And I called my Navy buddies, my shipmates, and I keep my brother, like she made second class in like 2 years. I'm like, yep.
What?
And she's got her warfare, she's got a surface warfare pen, she's got her IT pen, she's going for an airfield pen, and she was nominated for Sailor of the Quarter.
Amazing.
She's way better sailor than I ever was.
Me too. No.
Right. You got both of them.
I don't know about you, but the Navy, I feel like that's where I honed my comedic skills. Sitting around talking trash all day. Same for you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The Navy, I don't really talk about the Navy much on stage, but the Navy definitely, I met my best friend who is Harry Ratchford, who is currently writing for Kevin Hart. He and I met in the Navy. And we were actually a part of a comedy team very early on in our career. And, but I met some lifelong friends, man, and it definitely shaped my first check was in the Navy for comedy. Me and Harry doing comedy shows for our shipmates. So, that was the beginning of a long, long life of jokes.
Yeah. Do you think that's something you may tap into with your material as far as reaching back and maybe looking at your career? I think that's an untold story. I know you say you don't talk about it a lot, but maybe that's something to tap into.
Yeah, maybe.
Ish.
I'm not opposed to it. I've been doing comedy a long time, and you're always looking for something interesting to talk about. Now, what I am doing is I'm set. I just finished my book, Rodney Perry: Moments on My Journey, and part of the story, of course, in my 48 years of life. Part of the story is my Navy career. So that will definitely be a passage in the book. Well, definitely is a passage in the book. But the next leg is I'm doing a one-man show in 2020.
Love it.
And that is going to be like a part of it as well. So people kind of get to see Rodney Perry to say.
Let's shift into that, because you taught the class at Hope Flood's Comics Rock Convention last year, and she says it's coming back in 2020. So we gonna head out there again. But you taught the improv class. Is improv something that's near and dear to your heart?
It's always been my base. My first tour was in New Orleans, and myself, Harry, my buddy Harry, Dr. Ken John from the Hangover movies, he was around during that time, a bunch of us, and we were stand-up, but we would do improv probably 3 nights a week. And so I have a strong improv base, which helps me with acting and stuff like that, and it also helps me be fearless when it comes to when the material may or may not be working that night. If that makes any sense.
It makes total sense, because you're very physical on stage. I noticed that, and the thing is it's like it's precise though, like it's just, but it looks so. You can tell that you're tapping fully into your subconscious. It's like coming out, and so I'm just trying to picture this one-man show, how that's gonna come out. It's reminiscent to me of Whoopi Goldberg stand-up, or John Leguizamo, who are actually two of my favorite stand-up specials. So I'm excited for that.
I'm hoping that I can come somewhere even near those two.
It's as you get older, are you starting to get into that groove, to get into that comfort of your body, of your material, of what you know?
I mean, to be honest, what I'm attempting to do is to break out of the pack. So, I'm a comedian. I primarily play comedy clubs. I make the lion's share of my money telling jokes. And with the influx of social media comedians, they're beginning to absorb those comedy club weeks.
Yep.
So my one-man show is an effort to step out of the fray of comedy clubs into theaters and create something with Rodney Perry that's special. Does that make any sense?
It makes total sense. And to me, it is reminiscent of the past. It's like you're gonna modernize something that I don't think a lot of people really do appreciate. That one-man show, one-man, one-woman show is literally this person bringing every aspect of entertainment, to the stage with a comedic spin on it. I'm excited for it. So I hope everybody else out there is telling somebody to tune in. We are not done. We're gonna take a moment, take a break. You go tell your people to come tune in to fbrn.us on the Red Stream. We're also on Facebook Live. We're on Urban Intellectuals Facebook Live page. Shout out to the Urban Intellectual family. How y'all doing? Mental Speak family. We have on Mr. Rodney Perry today, tapping into comedy, tapping into some next level discussion. I do hope you'll tune in and stay tuned in. We'll be right back. Good stuff. I figured I'd give us a little breather. Give us a moment to breathe.
And that's the UI, Urban Intellectuals.
Urban Intellectuals. Yep. That's our baby. So we definitely gonna do something. I mean, do you know how you're gonna tour with it once you put it together? Is it something that you're gonna try to get like a residency, or are you gonna tour with it?
I like moving around. I like traveling.
Okay.
And one of my friends put up a one-woman show, and she's like, right, if I give you an invite, I would make it, as self-contained as possible.
Love it.
As far as, media and stuff like that, to incorporate into the show. And so I'll definitely take her advice on that. But
yeah. So we're still live on Facebook. So we'll keep chopping it up for the fam. I kind of hate the breaks because sometimes that's when all our best conversation happens is on the break. Anything that you want to share with the folks that while we have this platform, while we have this moment? Mhm.
I mean, we talked about the book. I mean, I do have a comedy album on the street, you know, and it's called Survivor,
Yes.
which is a nod to my stroke survival, and it's on iTunes and Amazon. It's on all of those platforms, those digital platforms.
Okay, perfect. So we'll make sure to plug
I
that.
see you.
We're gonna make sure we plug that before we get out of here.
I can see you.
You see me? Where you at? What you watching? What you watching? You on Facebook?
I'm looking at the Urban Intellectual
There you
page.
go. There you go. You see it? So you are in front. You're gonna be in front of. Well,
how much of a delay is?
With the Facebook, I want to say it's about a 2 second, maybe 4 second delay, because I can. Let me see. See, I see myself in real time on the actual platform, and then when I go there, it's about. Now I may even be like 20 seconds behind. But it's cool.
Wow.
It's cool. It's cool.
So
yeah.
What are you using as the switch?
So
The Vivo?
you're on 3 platforms right now. You're on our Fishbowl Radio Network, which is a radio station. We have about 5 million listeners. We get 5 million listeners a month there. You're on the Facebook platform, which is, what are we at, David? 1.4, 1 point something.
No, I'm asking, like, it's like the camera that's switching. So, like, what are you using as a switch?
OBS.
Oh,
platform. Yeah.
You run the OBS yourself or somebody else is helping you?
I'm doing it. I run it all. I have ADHD, so.
You are amazing. I tried to do OBS
you-
myself, and my brain almost exploded.
Nah, brother. Look. So here's the deal. So let's bullet point. So bullet point. I want to know how you got to the Bay Area. We're gonna talk about how you developed out in Cali. We definitely have to talk about your progression into, getting into film and doing all that good stuff. And then, of course, we're gonna talk about overcoming the health challenges, just social, and then we're gonna wrap it up. It's gonna go fast. So.
Tanya, I'm ready.
I know you are. I know. You ready to do this. Thank you so much. We got 40 seconds. Hey, Facebook fam. How y'all doing? Let's see if we get some stuff popping. $20 seconds. Yeah, my ADHD comes in handy when I'm in here. It just got an outlet for it. And welcome back to the Middle Speak Show on the Fishbowl Radio Network. You are listening to FBRN.US on the Red Stream. You're watching us on Facebook Live. You're on YouTube Live. And we are back with Mr. Rodney Perry, director, producer, comedian, writer, one-time stuntman. Tell us about that. You did a stunt.
Yes, I did a stunt. So I did a movie called, the original title of the movie was Boogie Beach Bash. And so I did a movie. They eventually changed the title to Malibu, which they both sound like porn, but it wasn't porn. And the character I was playing, I had to get tackled and beat up, and so I end up, I could put stuntman on my resume now because of that.
That is too cool. Did you get hurt? I mean, what'd you do?
No. I didn't get hurt. I learned a long time ago. Don't do stunts. Don't do nothing on a movie set you don't want to do 100 times.
There you go.
So I try to stay in my lane.
So check it. You were out. You made it from Chicago, which is the second most gangster city behind Oakland. Just saying.
Right.
Shout out to my peeps out in the West Coast, Oakland.
Well, Oakland is. I'm a Chicagoan, but Oakland is my comedy home.
Come on with it. So okay.
The Bay Area, man.
Yes. So listen, you need to shape your cohort for us. Who is Rodney Perry's cohort? When you got to the Bay Area, whose rooms were you going to? Who were you connecting with out there?
I mean, man, it's so many people. John Austin was the guru.
Okay.
He's a barber now. I think he may have stopped doing stand up. He pops in there.
He went clean.
Tony, what's Tony's last name? Goodness gracious. All of us was there though. Rodney Perry, Daniel Dugard was in the Bay, Lunel, Cat Williams,
Yep.
Harry Rashford. It was so many of us during that time that are really doing well now. And it was just a great incubator to be in. So where I'm a Midwest guy and a Chicagoan, I'm kind of a Bay Area comic. In the Bay Area, you have a unique balance of Oakland and San Francisco.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
And so they're distinctly different, and they're like dope cities, individually and collectively. So, I'm all about that town business when it comes to comedy.
How does a city shape one's comedy? How does the energy of a location contribute to a person's development?
I mean, because the audiences you're performing for, like when I got off the plane. So how I ended up in the Bay is this: I was done my first 4 years. I knew I wanted to go west. I knew I wanted to get to Hollywood. And so when I looked on the map, and the closest thing they offered me was the Bay Area, I was like, oh, that's only like an inch and a half away.
Wow.
I can do that.
Yeah.
But I was geographically challenged, and I didn't realize it was a 6-hour drive. So I made the move to the Bay Area, and it turned out to be the best move of my life because I got to grow up and become a grown-up comedian in the Bay. You go from Rudy Poot to grown-up.
Yeah.
And the Bay was a great place to grow up. And Oakland, San Francisco, whether it was the End Zone on High Street or Sweet Jimmy's or Jeffrey's Inner Circle or
Tony T's,
San Francisco, the Punchline or the Cobb Comedy Club or we would go up to San Ramon. We did comedy everywhere. And so I'm definitely legitimately shaped by the Bay Area on a lot of levels.
That's real. I felt that when I went down to LA. I felt this connection between, and obviously, Lunel coming down, but with Hope and all them, everybody has so much love for the Bay. It's almost like you can't tell the difference between Northern and Southern California.
You know what it is? Like, when you coming up, the Bay is where you used to go pick up that little money. When Hope Flood, they used to come to Oakland and make, that $500, that $600, that $1,000, for a Wednesday night, at the End Zone, a little lounge with, 50, 75 seats. And so that was the first time I saw those guys, back in the day, and they were headliners, and we was all Rudy Poots, just wanted to be funny.
Yep.
And so, the first time I saw Pierre was in the Bay. The first time I saw a lot of great comedians was during that time.
We have a lot of comedians tuned in. I know, a lot of folks that I'm connected with in comedy. To the comedians that are listening, what is the importance of having that cohort to having the connectedness in this industry? If you want to build a career.
I mean, I don't know if I'm hearing your question right. I mean,
can you fly solo or do you need a crew?
you don't need a crew, but you definitely need a person.
Okay.
You need somebody as a sounding board. Like you need comedy is a solo sport, but you need somebody, a mentor or a friend, or you need like a cohort is a good word. You need somebody in the trenches. You don't need 10 people, but you definitely need one good person that's got your back that can tell you, don't do that. That's somebody's show.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you don't know. you don't know that thing that idea you had felt so good. Why does it feel so good? Because you kind of stole it from somebody. So, if for nothing more than having another set of ears, that's the importance of, your peers.
Do we, in your opinion, in your observation, your life experience, are we excited when other people come up? So when you have that cohort, you see yourself, there's people that are grinding, they're getting on their hustle, and then they see somebody make it. They see somebody get a credit. They see somebody, get picked up for a tour. Are we legitimately happy for each other in what you've observed, or is there some hateration going on?
I am, because this is the irony of it. Like, when I see somebody do well, that lets me know it's possible.
Yeah.
Like, when you're living your life, sometimes you don't have a grasp of the possibilities. And when you see somebody that was standing next to you go, then you go, wow. Then people really do go. I saw Kevin Hart go. I saw Cat Williams go. I know it could happen.
Yes.
And so I've seen it. I see Luenell, make some big strides in her career, and my peers, my direct peers. And so to be in that talent pool and to be one of the best of those people, and don't get me wrong, it's easy to get down on yourself when you don't achieve what you think you should have achieved. But by the same token, and I learned this when I did.
Did we lose him? I think we lost him. We sure did. We're going to get him back on the line, and we are going to... Yep, there we go. We're going to get him back on the line. We're going to continue our conversation. We ain't going nowhere. You're listening to Mental Speak.
My bad, I hit something. I don't know what.
I love technology. No, we good. I throw on a jam, and then we get right back to it. Good stuff. Good stuff. So what I'm gonna do? Let me see. I'm gonna play about 3 minutes of some De La Soul, then we're gonna get back to it.
All right.
So where you going? You stay out of ATL, correct?
I live in Atlanta, yes.
You live in Atlanta. You know my girl Marie out there. Hey Marie.
Yeah.
Yeah, she and I are Ace Boone Coons, man. We worked at Edward Waters College in Jacksonville together. We used to.
Oh, yeah, she took my class.
Yes, she did. Yep. It's a small world, man. Eventually, everybody kind of circles back around and gets connected.
Very true.
Very true. Yeah, we gonna get back. Look, David just texted me. Let me tell you what y'all were talking about, because you know what I forgot too, right? Thank you, extra brain, for keeping me on point. So what we'll do too, when we start to wrap up, Ronnie, let me know if you get tired, because I know phone interviews can be exhausting. So you let me know.
I'm with you. I'm at your disposal.
I know you are. We're gonna rock it out. Who that said ADHD pays off? Yes, it does. It is useful. You guys don't throw away your ADHD kids. We matter.
G-Pop
gonna go ahead. Let me see. We're live on Facebook still, folks checking it out. If you're here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I literally just got booked on a show next week at the Arlington Improv. It's gonna be the Stand Up for Heroes show next Thursday. What is that? The 18th. The 18th. Stand Up for Heroes at the Arlington Improv, y'all. Get your tickets. Not sure who else will be on that show. We got about 30 seconds, Rodney.
Okay.
Down the line, hey, how you doing? Sorry I can't get through. Why don't you leave your name and your number, and I'll get back to you. Hey, how you doing? Sorry I can't get through. Why don't you leave your name and your number, and we'll get back to you.
FBRN.US on the red string. You're listening to the Mental Speak Show on the Fishbowl Radio Network, world-renowned Fishbowl Radio Network. We are global, so shout out to China. How y'all doing out there? Happy Friday. We tuned into an amazing show. We are on with Mr. Rodney Perry, who is talking to us about all things comedy, about he's had a great career. I mean, just... to me, I look at the credits, I look at the work that you've done, and I can see that, this is what a comedian aspires to do. We were talking about before the break, we're talking about kind of observing other people get their come up while you're also on your grind, and are you happy for the person? And I think you were saying, for you, it's possible to see someone else. That lets you know that it's possible when you see someone else coming up. Speak that to the people. Say it loud for the folks in the back.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I get it. You were stepping next to a guy, or a guy was behind you and they blow up. That could really affect your psyche. But if you are a glass half full person, then the only way to look at it is through a positive lens. And the positive lens says, if that person can make it, then I can make it. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Now, if you with 10 people ain't nobody made it, then you might want to get 10 more people.
It's that mentality of lack that there's not enough to eat. And I say to people, especially, listeners out there, you're doing comedy, there's a big table and it's infinite. And the thing about it is, you're gonna find your place at the table, and you can sit down and get you something to eat. It's not taken away from what somebody else is gonna eat, and in them eating is not taken away from what you eat. And it's like I'm still trying to figure out the hateration, but it is what it is.
I mean, it's human nature. Some people need that for their energy. Like, some people need to be combative as they traverse this life.
Right.
I personally don't operate in that space, but I understand it.
Yeah. And we're speaking the truth. I think what I do in my daily living is help us to tap into the truth within ourselves. Also comedy, but even as a therapist, it's like I have to help people connect and be honest and be real. And I think one thing for comedians, it's like, if we're gonna really truly grow, then you got to be honest about those insecurities. We got to be honest about our fears and the things that that kind of trip us up. So you went to the Bay. You got shaped in the Bay, and from there, how did you progress into all these different avenues that you've taken so far? So going in, how did you first step up into comedy and then blow up?
Well, I don't know if I blew up yet. We still working on that. But
nah, bro, you blew up.
And it's all relative.
It's true.
For
That's true.
for every goal you achieve, that opens the door to another goal. So I'm sure even if you talk to Kevin Hart, although he's aware of where he is, where he's going is still greater. And so for me, leaving the Bay was huge because I was at a crossroads of the Navy. And you'll understand this. I was approaching my 8-year mark,
Yep.
and they were asking me to re-enlist. And if I re-enlist, that would have took me to 12. And if you do 12 or anything, you might as well do 20. That was my mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made up my mind I was getting out. And my mother, who was my friend, she's passed, a year and a half past now. But she told me don't get out. She's like, who's gonna take care of your kids? And I was like, Mom, I'm not asking your permission. I'm letting you know I'm out of here. And that was the beginning of my steps in LA.
You took a serious leap. Like just what you
Oh, yeah.
said, like I want people to understand as well. It's like let's shape that for them. I did 14. I'm just like you. I did 12 active and then I did 2 reserve. So I get to 14 years. Now I got out because they stopped paying that incentive money. I was like, wait, y'all ain't paying me, and you want me to go to Afghanistan? I was like, nah,
Right.
them negotiations were done, and I didn't know what I was gonna do when I got out, but it was scary. So I can only imagine you getting out, and people look at comedy like, you gonna do what? Yeah, how you gonna eat?
Right. I mean, you got to think most of us are first generation entertainers. So there is no uncle that you could reference that was a member of the Four Tops.
Wow.
Or a brother that was a comedian for a couple of years. You just don't have that. So when you tell your loved ones you about to tell jokes for them, they look at you like, are you crazy? And so I went on, I did that, and the crazy part about the leap of faith is on the other side of the leap of faith is real life.
Yeah.
I looked up and I was in LA for 2 years and I really wasn't doing anything with entertainment. And I had a temp job at the VA, and I befriended this Vietnam vet. And he asked me one day, what are you doing here? And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, why are you in LA? I was like, man, I came to be a comedian. I want to, entertain the world. He's like, well, you got to leave here now.
Wow.
And I walked out of that place, and I haven't done anything for entertainment since then. That was like 1999.
Wow. Is it an all-in kind of thing? Is it with comedy for someone who has the goal to make it a career, not just a hobby, but do they have to also take that leap of faith, or is it?
I think whether it's comedy or whatever your thing is, right?
Yeah.
Because what I'm about to say is it's a universal idea. Like whatever your thing is, God requires you to trust Him. So at some point you're gonna have to and as much as I made a physical leap, it was 2 years later until I made the mental leap.
Wow.
Like I made the physical leap,
Yes.
so I jumped, and a lot of people stop there.
Yes.
Well, I leap, and then things get hard. It don't feel like you thought it was gonna feel, and you go back to your comfort zone. You get your job back. You do those things again. And so I took the physical leap, then I took the mental leap, and once I took the mental leap, there was no turning back. And I tell people all the time, I'm in the most faith-based profession
Yes.
that you could be in and not be a pastor.
Wow. Yeah, you gotta believe it. You gotta believe.
You gotta believe.
It's the basis of even to stand up there, to trust that what's gonna come out of your mouth, that your truth is going to hit so hard that somebody wants to hear it and receive it. That somebody wants to come and exchange their hard-earned finances to come and hear your truth, so that they can laugh and so that they can, take the edge off of their day, take the edge off of their life.
Right.
That's powerful. You ain't lying. That's without being a pastor. But essentially that's what like we've said, a comedian is a truth teller for a fee, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
What was the mental, so you had to make that mental shift. I hear that each individual person's shift is going to be very unique. What was your shift? What did you need to overcome in your mind?
I think my mental shift was you know, the fact that I had to take care of a family
Okay.
and trusting the fact that I can do that with what I love to do. Like, it's easy to get a job and work every day and kind of wish you were doing that thing that you love.
Mm-hmm.
But my mental paradigm shift was trusting that God was going to take care of my family if I was obedient.
And obedience for you, what it look like? What did you?
It looked like me just trusting him, and when in terms of when the money wasn't there or isn't there, even now,
Mm-hmm.
I still have to remember, even now, 20-some, 30-some years in the game, I have to remember that, you know, I'm okay. Like, I have to remember that each step in the journey is valid.
Yes.
And so, you know, you have when your money is short, it's easy to go get a job. But I refuse, because I know that I can take a phone call that will be as much money as people make all month.
When you.
So
Yeah.
I just don't worry about money. That's my mentorship is not worrying. What somebody say one time, you know, if you're gonna pray, don't worry. If you're gonna worry, don't pray. So I don't worry.
So it sounds like, and as much as you put that faith out there, the trust in God, that you've said to yourself that the talent that you've developed is going to be enough to get you what you need, you and your family. So you gotta trust in yourself too, yeah.
I haven't even considered my talent, because, you know, I've gotten better over the years. I didn't even think about the talent. That was part of if I look back and I'm completely honest with myself,
Yeah.
the leap of faith was not hinging on whether I was good enough. It was hinging on, I just had to jump. Like Steve Harvey used a reference of, you know, your parachute, you have to trust that your parachute is going to open. So you don't, like, when I jumped, I didn't know if my parachute would open or not, but I did.
Yeah. So you were,
You know what I mean?
so you have been confident in your talent. You've been confident. There was no question, am I going to get out here and is the community going to feel me? Are the people going to receive Rodney Perry's truth? You knew that was okay.
I couldn't say I had no doubts. You know, I mean, I couldn't say that you know, from time to time, even now, I mean, we always are in a constant struggle with ourselves. You know, I used to do this joke. I said, you know, the only hater that's always there is you.
Dang.
Like, you know, everybody's talking about haters. All these haters hate on me. No, not really, because they don't have access to your inner thoughts. So who's the biggest hater in your life? Probably you. You're always, you know your shortcomings. You know your insecurities. So when you go, I'm gonna take this leap of faith, your inner hater goes, but you fat though.
Dang. Dang.
When you say I'm gonna take this leap of faith, you say, yeah, but how you gonna eat?
Wow.
Or who's gonna take care of us?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so to conquer that guy is the hard part.
Wow. And so really, look at the layer of depth that takes it to. So really, when we're saying that we think other people are hating on us, we're not even recognizing that it's each individual person looking out at other people, projecting their own hate for themselves onto other people, and then reflecting it back and saying, oh, you hate me. No. They ain't worried about you.
There's people that hate on you, but they can't hate on you as good as you hate on yourself. That's the whole thing.
There you go. Yeah, you're right, because you got, like you say,
his people definitely hating, you know, but at the same time, you don't have to really be worried about them, because they can't affect your journey unless you allow them to. But your inner hater has access to all the files.
Dang. So how does a comedian, so people that are coming up in a certain region, let's say they're in their city, and they're trying, like you said, they're trying to battle the inner hater. Doesn't other people hating on you kind of compound that? How did you find a way to tune out those external haters? How did you kind of buffer yourself from all that? If you had any haters.
I mean, I'm sure I do. I mean, my method, to be honest, I'm just a good guy. I pride myself on being fair, treating people fair, and if people show me that they don't mean me good, I just don't ever be around them anymore.
Right.
Like I'm very conscious and aware of my energy and people that attempt to pollute my energy with something other than good energy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that sounds like that's going to be key. So to any of the comedians listening, I mean, good Lord, when you listen back to this show, and you're also going to be able to hear it in the podcast on your favorite podcast platform, including Google Podcasts, Apple, where we at? TuneIn, Anchor. We got all the podcasts. So when you listen back, I want you to hear what he said. It's about the battle is you and you. You and you.
And only you. It's only you.
Only you. Only you.
Because you got access to the files. Like if this was an espionage movie, you inside your own head taking pictures of the files. You got access to all the stuff that can hurt you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so.
And you got to clean. So you got to clean out the
aware.
files. You got to clean out the files. It sounds like. So take the time to focus on, as MJ said, focus on the man in the mirror, man or woman in the mirror, and clean your own files. Then you don't have anything to hate on once you start to get yourself together. Deep.
Right, but there's always some. See, like that. You gotta understand the haters. Your inner hater don't mean you no harm. They just afraid.
What are
right?
they afraid of? What are they afraid of?
It's comfortable. Your normalcy is comfortable. It's very uncomfortable to take the leap of faith. Like you ever got directions to somewhere you've never been, right?
Mm-hmm.
You put it in your GPS, but inevitably at some point on that journey you start second guessing GPS. You're like, man, I don't know. I think I might have missed a turn. I don't know. And you have to stay the course, because if you get off the road, then you force the GPS to what? Recalculate.
You got to
reroute, reconfigure.
And it might
So
set you
now,
back.
that's not to say you're not going to get where you were going anyway, but now you're on a longer route. And so most of us allow that inner hater, to reroute our route. And then you say, well, why did so-and-so make it and you didn't? Well, maybe you rerouted when you shouldn't have.
Rodney, what I tell you, man, you dropping these jewels. And that's what I love.
Well, I'm the king of analysis.
Listen,
I got all types of.
but look, and that's the whole point. If this is for folks, this is your first time tuning into the Mental Speak family. This is the kind of hard-hitting, next level, conscious discussion that we have. Whether I'm talking to an entertainer, whether I'm talking to somebody local, whether I'm talking to an activist, our goal is for us to put our heads together and glean some knowledge so that we can apply it to our lives. Rodney Perry in the house today on the Mental Speak show, dropping some jewels for us, giving us his perspective throughout his he says he didn't blow up, but I'm just saying, it's.
I'm doing good.
He doing good.
I'm very thankful, and
yeah.
There's a lot of people that will switch places with Rodney Perry for sure.
They sure would. So we are not done yet, fam. We are not done. Rodney tells me he's gonna ride with us to the end of the show. So you still have time to go tell a friend, to tell another friend, to come to fbrn.us on the Red Stream. That's on your web. We also have the Fishbowl Radio app. You can watch us on Facebook Live. You can watch us on YouTube Live. I got you covered. Shout out to the Urban Intellectual family. Thank you guys for tuning in. Wherever you are in the world, we're not done yet. Come on back.
Hey folks, this is Brett Watts, host
All right, get these commercials played, and then we should be back live at about. We will be back live at just right at 6. So give me a second. Shoot, you almost sound like a pastor, Rodney. You got some
That's
gems.
because I ain't cussing right now. That's all.
Same. Oh, I know, appreciate you recognizing the FCC status for, So yeah, so when we come back in the second hour, obviously we gotta hit on, the TV shows and doing all that kind of background, kind of giving people perspective into that world, and we'll go from there. So let's see. Yeah, we kind of touched. What I try to do is like, I want, and you're so good because you flow with it, but like, you know how we typically will ask the same kind of questions. We do these interviews. I wanted to highlight, David and Sherelle were saying just, you are pretty deep, and like just being able to kind of provide an interview where you can like showcase the depth and perspective.
It's all good.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Jake,
what's up?
what you doing, homeboy?
How's
How are
everything
you?
going?
Good to see you.
Hey.
Everything good?
Heck yeah.
Good stuff, man.
Man, there's some stuff I wanted to like talk to you about, you know what I'm saying? Some crazy stuff.
All right.
Is it warm in here to you? You want me
Yes.
to like make it cooler?
No.
Huh?
No.
You
And
good?
it picks up on the.
Are you sure?
When
that
it-
one's kind of quiet.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, like it's not the
Not like this one over here. Okay.
yeah, that one. Watch.
Yeah, I hate to have to edit that. Oh.
Right?
Yes, because that'll mess up a whole show over there.
Having that like is she on outside? Yeah.
All right, we'll chat. We'll chit chat. Okay, we got about a minute. Oh shoot, I forgot you was in Monroe too. You was in Louisiana too.
Yeah, my mother's from Monroe. Yeah.
Monroe. I've been through there for I-20.
Monroe, LA.
Mm-hmm. Lived in. Oh yeah, that's right. Cause we were. That's right. I was. I got out at NASJRB in 2010. Plaquemine Parish, which is probably in the water right now.
I know, right?
Okay. All right. 30 seconds.
to the Mental Speak Radio Show on the Fishbowl Radio Network.
And we're back. We're back to the second hour of the Mental Speak Radio Show on the Fishbowl Radio Network, FBRN.US on the Red Stream, world-renowned Fishbowl Radio Network, first internet radio station of its kind to do it, the largest of its kind around the globe. You are tuned in. We have over 150 amazing shows on this station, and you can find something that you love, something that hits your heart. I'm your host, LaTanya Davison, and I host the Mental Speak Show. If you're tuned in for the first time, what have you got to know? What's it about, LaTanya? Well, it started off, I am a mental health therapist, so it started off as just thinking that I was just going to talk about those kind of issues, but I realized a lot of my work is helping us to figure out society. So I coined the term for myself. I don't think it's a thing, but I call myself a cultural therapist, and also do comedy. So I kind of married the two together. I also DJ, and boom, here's this amazing radio station, internet radio station, Fishbowl Radio, that allows me to provide a platform to other fellow comedians, to other activists, to other, clinicians and people from the community to come and speak their truth and give it to the world. We are 150 shows strong. We show up in numerous countries around the world, so our voices are going out around the globe. We are heard, and in this time of human evolution, it is so necessary for us to get the knowledge that we need, so that we can come about. Man, we've been in the dark ages. I don't know if anybody considers it that. I think if you read history 200 years from now, they're gonna be like, the millennium was the dark ages. We don't even know, but I see.
Right.
You feel me? You agree?
I mean, I get the concept. Yeah, I get it.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's just a lack of awareness, right?
I think to be
Yes.
honest, I think it's the beginning of a new age. To be honest,
It
I think
is.
we're at the cusp of a new time.
Come on, 2020. Right? Looking back, seeing where you come from, getting that hindsight, and then having clear vision, and then opening up and seeing what you can be. I'm feeling it. Rodney, I know you're feeling it, because I see you leveling up. I think we can see this. You got so we're going to tell people about, you got a book coming out, you got a comedy album called Survivor that is captures the stroke that you went through, which we're going to talk about, and then you have a one-man show coming up in 2020. A lot on the horizon for you.
Yeah.
You went to LA. You worked the comedy circuit. What took you into acting? Was that the natural next step for you?
Well, I realized fairly quickly that I'm a comedian, first of all. I'm a comedian, no doubt. So my goal has always been for people to come see me do comedy. And what I realized is that if I didn't get on television or film, especially entertaining black people, that black people don't go see people they don't know.
Nope.
They don't spend their money on that. And so once I understood that, I had to put acting on my plate. And so I began taking classes. I studied with Tasha Smith in her Seesaw workshop for a number of years, man. And she gave me the tools that I still use today as an actor. And then I found I liked acting. I liked it, And it wasn't a departure from comedy because people hired comedians to act. So it allowed me to still stay in the entertainment world, and also, get an occasional check, a residual check or something like that. So yeah, it worked out.
Yeah. It just, it does. It seems like the comedian, again, it brings, once a person has honed their skills, I don't think people understand. I repeatedly say it. I had a gentleman on here who is, he's a world-renowned PhD, studies, ego, basically. But he said, comedians are fully immersed in their ego. You are literally going down and tapping into everything that you are to pull it out and bring it out. So a comedian can make the perfect actor because you gotta, you portraying human condition. So of course it's, going to be the next natural step.
You take my friend Monique, right?
Yes.
Monique got world-renowned accolades for playing the character on Precious.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
if Lynn Whitfield plays that character, it's still powerful, but it's less powerful because you didn't have a reference point of her as a funny person.
Yep.
So when you got a reference point as a person as a funny person, then they show you they have drama. It's even more powerful. And so the blessing of the actor is one that I cherish, man. I really enjoy acting, but it's definitely a different animal. I mean, like, acting is collaborative. I kind of don't collaborate with people in comedy unless I absolutely want to.
Because
I just don't have to. I mean, I'm the only one on stage talking,
yeah.
so I don't have to wait for somebody to do their lines. I don't have to listen. So when you're the comedian, it's kind of a selfish endeavor. Like I always say that comedy is not a team sport, but it's kind of like track and field. Like from time to time, you get to run a relay with your friends, but
Right.
the reality is it's all personal records. So that's the better way to answer your question from earlier. Is like the reason you don't trip off other people because you're always trying to set your own PR, your own personal record.
There it is. Yeah. Like you said, it's the only time you really handing off a baton as far as comedian, maybe from the host to the feature to the headliner. You guys are working together to bring that energy to the stage.
That's the relay.
Yeah.
And even then, it's not a relay because I tell comics, I say, look, it don't matter who headlines because if the world ends while you're on the stage, you're the last comic that went up. You the headliner.
It's all about perspective.
All about perspective.
All about perspective. I want to, we're going to, again, and we're just kind of progressing. This is organic conversation, fam. Y'all tuned in. I'm really not even going off of bullet points because, again, and I said this to him, I'm like, just the knowledge is so rich that I'm just kind of flowing with what comes up. So just know that. This is nothing orchestrated. You said something, and I don't think people tap into what you said specific to Monique, and I want to blow it up right now. You said that people will not appreciate what she was trying to convey and what she was trying to say when she highlighted the disparity of pay concerning a Netflix special. And I want to make sure, because on this show, we don't say what everybody says. We say what needs to be heard and said. I want you to reiterate that.
Well, more than I talked, I mean, I think I was one of the first people she told about what she was thinking about doing.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing I was echoing, she's my friend. So you're like, do you talk to Monique? I'm like, yeah, that's my friend. So, but anyway, I said, Mo, people, you may never benefit from this moment. You may never benefit from this moment, but somebody that looks like us will. And I once heard somebody say years ago, don't burn bridges because you may have to cross it again one day.
Right.
But that's not entirely true. You don't burn bridges because of the people that look like you that have to cross those bridges. And when you think of a Monique and the stance she takes, first of all, what she said was completely true. There were no blacks on Netflix. So when you see a Tiffany Haddish about to drop 6 specials on Netflix with her friends that she's bringing on board, it may seem like that the Monique stance didn't affect that, but it absolutely did in my opinion.
Yeah.
And Netflix, without saying anything, had to take a look at themselves and had to go, well, she does have a point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, are we gonna pay 20 million? Maybe not. But if you pay Amy Schumer 11 million, you should get at least in the neighborhood for money,
Yeah.
at least. You know, but we as African Americans, we allow our stars to be marginalized, and that in itself is a problem.
Yeah. And the person to speak out about it is this is what I hear. I always tell people, you know, what sounds like to me is like, you better hush all that foolishness, you know, master been good to us. And it's like we're lucky to just get something. So why are you asking for more? Or why are you asking for, you know, just take these fixings, you know, take these pig parts and be happy with your chitlins and hush up. You're lucky we even let you in the door. You know, it's almost like we've taken on that same conditioning, and the moment a person points out the absurdity of it, which is what a comedian does, first and foremost, but when other demographics speak out about the disparity of their pay, no one tells them to shut up. No one tells them to sit down. No one tells them to be quiet. I was really surprised just at the timing that we were still, you know, grown folks were still talking like that. But I think it's...
Well, you know, I mean, this is the catch-22. You kind of can't, you kind of can't expect people to fight your fight.
Right.
Like, I can't walk into a bank and go, hey, man, they messed up my money, man, what we gonna do?
It ain't my money.
You're gonna be like, well, it ain't my money. And that's what the resounding answer was. But at the same time, she spoke loud enough about her money that it affected your money.
That's right.
So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
How did you get brought on as a co-host?
Monique and I, we actually did radio together before we did television. And we did radio, and the radio show ended. And she said, Rodney, bigger and better things are coming. And 2 months later, I got a call that Mo wanted me to be her co-host on BT. It was just that easy.
Wow.
And that's why I know when things are real, they happen really fast. Like when people say, you know, well, give us a month to 4 months, we'll try to figure it out. That's always BS. Because when stuff is real, it happens immediately.
They're not playing.
They're not playing. They're ready to go.
Yeah.
They're ready to spend money. The money is in place. Let's go. You know. So when people start hemming and hawing, I know in my mind, I'll be like, okay, they're not ready.
Well, you see, I got a call. This one dude.
What had happened?
Yeah,
was,
what happened was, see, no, brother, you know, yeah, we know, we know what it is. How do we do each other better? What would you like to see specific to comedy, specific to comedians? What needs to be done better as far as between bookers and between comedians themselves?
That's a great question. What can we do better? We could share information better. Like, and each individual has to do it. You know, like I go out my way to make myself available to comedians, because when I was a Rudy Poop, all I wanted to do was talk.
Yeah.
You know, Jancy Brown once told me, he said, man, the best thing you give a comedian is sit down and talk to them. You know, tell them they're on the right track, and, you know, give them some encouragement. That'll be worth more than any money you could ever give.
Yeah.
And so that's what I definitely go out my way to give that time to my peers, if I can.
Yeah.
And so, and when I say share information, if you see somebody doing something that you know is wrong, just pull it aside. Hey man, why don't you try it this way? And everybody's not gonna listen, but sometimes people don't know they're doing something wrong.
Yeah, we can't observe ourselves. We can't see what we need to see and have that feedback. Like you said, having that one person in your circle of trust that can give you feedback and let you know, hey, you know, I don't think you ought to be going down that path, brother. Um, let's shift gears. Let's shift gears because your journey at some point got pretty serious. I was watching the VA video that you did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Veterans Administration. So they made a video. You guys can see it on YouTube, where they chronicled the journey from the day that you had a stroke, which you did 2 shows.
That was probably the dumbest thing I did. Cause I went to the, I was talking to my buddy. He said, man, release your pressure check. I went to the Walmart, got my pressure. I should have went to the emergency room. My pressure was 221 over 140. So,
Oh my God.
but I'm a guy, and I got bills to pay, and I needed the money, and and I went and did those shows. To be honest, I thought they would lower my pressure and send me home, and they didn't. And 8 days in ICU and maybe 40 days of rehab later, my life changed forever.
I don't think I've ever heard. I went to nursing school I did a semester in nursing school. I don't think I ever in my life. Let's see what we got. See y'all. See technology. See how that works. Technology just don't want to cooperate today. See what we got. But we make it work. We make it work. And we have been on the phone for a long time, so it's possible his phone died. But we're not done yet on the Mental Speak show. We keep it moving, things happen, and you're ready to roll. You always have a song in the queue. You're listening to the Mental Speak show on the Fishbowl Radio Network. What's up, fam? So we lost, I don't know if we lost the signal or we lost Tim, but we're gonna take a little break. I think I got you. Did I get you? Nope. So technology, we have lost the phone call. I don't know if his phone may have died. We have been on for it's been over an hour. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Facebook, I see you. See you down there. Shout out to the Urban Intellectual family. We're just taking a break. I'm gonna see if Rodney's gonna call back in. In the meantime, listen to some epic jams. We turn it down for Facebook. Facebook shuts the video off. But it's been an amazing conversation. I do encourage you guys to come back, watch the Facebook video. Do share the Facebook video. It's also live on YouTube on the Mental Speak Radio YouTube page. So you guys, please share, distribute. A lot of knowledge, a lot of gems being dropped today. Rodney Perry, his life is pretty dynamic. It's something that, we get to peer into people's lives and they share their journey. And the goal for us is just to kind of, see how somebody else did it and be encouraged to continue on our path. Whether you do comedy or whether you don't do comedy. Just kind of believing that whatever it is that you're meant to do, you just stay the course. Sometimes you gotta jump, sometimes you gotta make a leap of faith, and you don't know what's gonna come on the other side. You don't know if you're gonna eat or the lights are gonna stay on, but if it's your passion, you push through. So that's something that he talked about today, and it was really, so far it's been just especially profound. We're really blessed to have these connections and be able to, talk to some folks. But I hope your day is going well. We'll see if we'll get him back on. I'm gonna play some music in the meantime, if y'all don't mind. gonna take this moment to plug the Stand Up for Heroes show at the Arlington Improv next Thursday, July 18th. Oops, dang it.